Join the charge. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, heck, we're even on TikTok. We're excited to engage with you. We hope you'll join us moving forward.
Click that like and subscribe button and go sign up on superchargedstocks.com and let's keep you notified. Good morning, Nico. How are you? Today we're welcoming Nikolaos Cacos, who is running the show over here at Blue Sky Uranium, President and CEO, and lots of news coming in. And we've heard a lot about Argentina lately. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing very well. I'm very excited. First of all, excited to be on your program here, Andrew, and also very excited to be part of a company that is so much the future. The future is nuclear. And this nuclear future is, it's not your and my grandmother's nuclear power plants of the past. These new nuclear power plants are really safe, secure, they're efficient. They provide us with that baseload energy that we need, that's safe, secure, carbon-free. I think it's definitely the future, and we're going to see it become ubiquitous as we move forward.
It's good because there was some resistance for years, and literally you'd have even environmentalists come out and say, listen, if you're going to talk about a green future, you have to talk about nuclear. And the problem, of course, is that these rare black swan events, there's Chernobyl, there's Fukushima, but that belittles the point that there are tons of projects over decades and decades that have had no issue. And like you said, the technology and the ability to create nuclear reactors on a small scale as well as big scale, it's night and day. The whole world has changed, and we've seen it in technology in other sectors. Why wouldn't it be in this sector?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, these are, those reactors that you mentioned were built 80 years ago, and they're not built the same way today.
No. Okay, so let me jump back in because we've talked. Some of my viewers will know the Grosso Group now because we've looked at a couple projects, and I'll highlight again why it's so important. It's because, and you've been with the company for 25 years, is that relationship in Argentina, and that is invaluable. That goes a long way.
We've been in Argentina for nearly 30 years now, since 1993. And, Argentina is a fantastic country with tremendous potential in the mining industry. It's a country that did not have mining developed at all prior to that. So we've had, our group is one of the pioneers. The Grosso Group is one of the pioneers of mining in Argentina. We've had a lot of success in that country. We've made 4 major discoveries. There's 2 producing mines that are happening right now. There's the world's largest undeveloped silver deposit. And what we're seeing here with Blue Sky, the Amarillo Grande uranium-vanadium project, it's not just a project, it's an entire new district, very similar to what we see in Kazakhstan, which is the world's largest producer because of the low-cost nature. And we're seeing that being emulated here in our backyard. This is very exciting, and the potential here for growth is fantastic for our company and fantastic for the country of Argentina as well.
And just before we jump into the specifics on Blue Sky Uranium, we had an interesting conversation just before we started about the unique situation with uranium and nuclear in Argentina. And I can say this other company, Argentina Lithium, because it's part of the Grosso Group and people will be familiar, but there's a lot of press about this new energy wave and people looking to Argentina for lithium, but also, and maybe you can jump in here, this unique situation with Argentina and its, I guess, use of nuclear, which I wasn't even aware of.
No, many of our investors are not aware that Argentina is a nuclear country. They've been in the nuclear business since the 50s, almost as long as the United States has, and they're actually extremely well regarded. They have a highly developed and very sophisticated nuclear industry. They've got 3 nuclear power plants in production that are operating there right now. They've got 2 more that are being built. They've got pilot enrichment plants. They do research centers. In fact, the president of the International Atomic Energy Agency is an Argentinian. It's a tip of the hat to that country's sophistication. So for us, this couldn't be a better place for us to operate in, because, with that there, all the infrastructure, all the regulations that need to be in place to handle and to move nuclear materials around are already in place. It doesn't need to, we don't need to reinvent a wheel there, so to speak. So it is fantastic. And we're seeing a lot of support both from the federal government and the provincial government. So it is a great place in which to operate. And for us, I think it sets us up for a very unique opportunity, because while Argentina is involved in every facet of the nuclear industry, the only thing they don't have is production of uranium. They import all their need. And right now, we're trying to set our company, even at this early stage, we are the largest uranium deposit in Argentina and the most advanced. We're trying to set ourselves up to be the first domestic supplier of uranium to Argentina, and then to become a net exporter from there.
What a macro setup for someone who's interested and understands this green movement. And I mean, we don't have to look too far past Europe and see the energy crisis that's happening, and even to some extent in the States.
Yeah.
There needs to be a big catch up very quickly. So you can get really, and I use the catchphrase, in ahead of the curve by taking a look at Blue Sky Uranium and look at it's already there. The infrastructure is there. They're already, ready to move. And you've done a lot of work. You've got 3 early stage projects, but you've got an advanced stage project, which I think we'll spend a little bit more time on talking about in detail. But if someone's looking at Blue Sky today, what's really, other than the macro story, I mean, the background's there. It's already interesting. It's percolating in their head. Yeah. What am I looking for right now?
Well, what's interesting about Blue Sky is that we're working in developing and advancing not just a single uranium deposit. And, unlike all our other peers on the globe, we're developing a new uranium district. Now, this district has many geological similarities to those districts that we see in Kazakhstan. Now, Kazakhstan, for those who may not be aware, provides more than half of the world's uranium, and that has to do because of the very low-cost nature of extracting the uranium. Well, here in Argentina, on the Amarillo Grande, our project, this is exactly what we're seeing. Only instead of being buried 200 or 300 meters below surface, our deposits are from surface to the first 25 meters. And we've been working in this district now for 15 years. We've already identified almost just under 23 million pounds of uranium, and we know there's occurrences throughout this entire district. But the interesting thing is that we wanted to know that with our first deposit, is this competitive? Could it be competitive with the Kazakhstani deposit, so to speak? So we did an initial preliminary economic assessment to get a handle on that. And what we found that the cash costs that came in at just over $16 a pound were very comparable to what these companies in Kazakhstan were producing. So this has the potential to rank amongst the lowest cost producers in the world. Now we're at the point where we're exploring and stepping out at these other mineralized targets that we know there's uranium occurrences. As we define additional deposits, and this begins to grow, we've got the potential here to also rank amongst the largest uranium districts in the world and become a Kazakhstan sort of uranium district in the West.
Yes, and that I think that supply chain issue and the ability to have access to metals and minerals is going to be critical moving forward here as well. And I think they're looking more towards North America for copper projects and other projects, but you're sitting on, they've got the Athabasca Basin up here in Canada for Canadian nuclear and even to some extent the US, but you would have a stranglehold basically in South America with the technology already there. There's no upgrades needed. It's there. I would assume a very happy market, willing to embrace a discovery with open arms.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Argentina is quite keen. They actually have a domestic law that states that any Argentine reactors must always give priority to domestically produced uranium first. And that makes a lot of sense. It provides jobs locally. and so forth, and it supports their security of their fuel. And then, of course, we could be in a situation where we could become net exporters to the rest of the world.
And now you touched on you've got a 3,500 meter program at 50 holes. Now,
we've announced where the deposit has occurred right now. We know that this has potential to grow. So we have announced a 3,500 meter program, and the purpose of that is to test the growth of this deposit. So we're hoping that in the coming months, we'll be able to announce a much larger deposit. Now, beyond that, we have an additional 4,500 meter program that's testing two other targets that are 10 and 20 kilometers respectively north of the Ivana deposit. Now, these targets have a lot of similarities to the Ivana deposit. So our aim here is to see if we can identify another Ivana, so to speak, another, can we find additional resources that we can begin to bulk up the company, and at these low, if the low costs that we've been able to demonstrate continue to hold up, I think we're onto a real winner here.
And I don't know uranium deposits as well, other than, I've seen the ones in Kazakhstan, I know the ones in Athabasca, and there's a lot in a cluster. So it wouldn't be unusual for them to occur in a cluster in the same area.
Absolutely not. And there's a difference. In Kazakhstan, the deposits are buried deep. They're buried 200 to 300 meters deep. In Athabasca, they're buried kilometers deep,
yes,
often under frozen lakes, and it's extremely expensive. So you need very high grade uranium in order to make the economics work there. In Argentina, at Amarillo Grande, the deposit starts from surface to the first 25, 30 meters, and this ground is unconsolidated. What that means, all you need is a digger, a shovel, and a pail, and then it's very, very cheap and very simple to be able to extract the uranium and the vanadium out of that.
If I'm looking dollar for dollar, where else am I going to look to have the potential setup that you guys have? And for me, I won't ask you that question. I would have a hard time finding one that is compelling with hitting all these kind of check boxes and markers set up already. And it's really just a matter of waiting to see what these results carry home.
You're absolutely right. I think we're at the sweet spot in terms of where our company is situated right now. I think over the next 2 or 3 months, we're going to have a series of results coming back from our drill program. And as the results come in, it looks like we're starting to identify new deposits, I think we're going to see a massive revaluation of their company's value. And then from there, we plan to move to pre-feasibility study stage, which basically will take us until the end of the year. Then we can make a production decision. And with Argentina being a nuclear country, they don't need to reinvent the wheel there in order to, to basically regulate and to give permits for going into production. It's going to be a relatively very quick process. And this is actually what's really very exciting about the company right now.
Well, like I said, everyone take a peek at Blue Sky Uranium. Put it on the side of your monitor if you're not looking at it already. Keep an eye open for it, because there's going to be a lot coming out from this whole sector, and certainly from this company. And I can't wait to catch up with you again when you have results and have some news, and let us know what the next step is.
I look forward to it.
Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.